So I think I will start. In my point of view, the best way to invest money is through private sector. So in my opinion, the best way to support companies and especially startups is to through indirect support, such as funds, accelerators, incubators, and whole ecosystem supporting growth of companies from the very beginning. So I represent institution which is supporting especially seed funds. Since 2006, we had a lot of money into that system, and up to now we have, I think, 78 seed funds which have money to invest. They are running their programs and looking for entrepreneurs who have their ideas but don't have money to make them into functioning companies. So I think it's a start. Can you move forward?
When I think how we should support startups, I think about the ecosystem. I mean, the public support, it's not forever. We should establish proper mechanisms that after we're done with our support, this ecosystem will be self-moving. So it's very important to not just focus on support some strict companies, but to prepare the proper mechanism and the proper logic of whole system, create proper law environment for it, networking the proper environment, proper people. Because now we're living in the time that our country is flooded by European money, but it's not forever. In 10 years, this stream will be dry, and we have to still support the ecosystem, still support the startups, but from where? From which resource? So I think there is a huge responsibility on our shoulders to spend this money wisely and smart.
What will change in the? You said that in 10 years the money will run out, but in these 10 years, especially upcoming 5 years, we have a lot of money which are divided into special measures and programs that are aimed to support. What we have learned from the past experiences is that companies don't want public support because it's hard. It demands contact with the public officer, which is not easy. What we want to change? We want to change the way of application for funds. This way should be easy and quick because, especially in early stage in startups, time is money, and that's very and especially true. 1 month, 2 months, it's be or not to be for the companies. So, situation where company is applying for some subsidy or funds, loan, whatever, and have to wait 3 months, 4 months, or even longer is beyond acceptation. So that's the first thing we want to change. What's more? We, of course, have some regulations from the European Union, from the Commission, because most of the money we are dealing is money from the structural funds, and we have to implement some regulations. That's not everything what we want to achieve is achievable. But
Sometimes dreams come true.
we are still trying.
But anyway, of course, we have to move around some frameworks. Those frameworks comes from the Brussels. But anyway, we have to still remember what mission we've got. And I think you're very right when you say that we have to engage in support system the private money, private specialists, private management teams. But the point is, after we finish finance them, will they stay or will they go? So it's not the point to give money to someone. Come on, we've got a certain amount of money, support our startups. And then after the program, they evaporate. It's like the example from the incubators, which used to be set up in Poland. And until the public support was going to those incubators, they were on the market. After the support was done, it's a problem. How do they can earn for their own expenses? So that's the point to what I'm telling about, to do it smartly, to make proper relationships, to create proper pipeline of the project, for example, to create the institutions, the places where the people with ideas of startups can go and get easy support. I mean, mentoring support, not just financial support. We have to learn people how to prepare the business plan. So I think this problem is much more wider because it's easy when you've got a lot of money to spend them, but much more tough task is to create an ecosystem which will be self-financing later.
You mentioned incubators, but I think the more terrible case is direct subsidies for startups. That didn't work, in my opinion. Incubators, there are downsides and upsides of that, but you mentioned the right thing. I think support through the institutions, private sector, is more effective because it's not only giving money, so here you are and take it, make use of it, but also taking care of the company, of the startup, by investor or institution, accelerator, or whatever, which has an interest in it. Because if he invested, it's in his area of operation to to help that startup to support.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that it's good that we learn our lesson and we are changing our philosophy about the thinking how to support the startups, and we are coming from the direct support by dotation to the taking equity position. It's something totally different when someone who supports the startup by the money has a skin on the game and he's responsible to mentoring, to grow up the startup, to take him to the global market, because usually the civil servants, they should show that they spent money on the purpose that they were focused, but no one asked them after 3-5 years it was reasonable or not how you spend those money. You have to show that you spent on the purpose that they was like giving to you. So when we taking the equity position, it's tied the public money with the success of the startup. And in other hands, I still repeat this sentence, like the civil servants are not the right person to choose which project is good or not. So when we engage the private investors in this process, we engage something much smarter than we to deal with the startup, to help the startup go further and achieve the success. Because I think that we didn't achieve the success until now because we didn't create any global Polish company. And we have to think global if we want to have a place on the global market as a country.
And that's the reason the system of public support of the companies is moving from supporting direct supporting of companies to support of the whole ecosystem. We have some in my institution. We have some projects of programs of measures which are aimed at seed funds, business angel networks, or even that's a direct support, but for the IPOs, money for IPO. So we are learn that giving away money to startups, or not even startups, or grown companies also, is not even best idea. Of course, we cannot exclude subsidies at all in system of support. That you could tell about it because that's your institution is into it, but this is more targeted aid on research and development, intelligent specializations, and so on. So I think you could tell them about that.
What?
About subsidies in the next financial perspective, research and development, and so on.
When we talk about the research and development, it's nature that those kind of projects, they are on the very early stage, that the risk is very high, the demand of the money is also very high, and like the nature is that we think they should be supported by the dotations. But when we do like this, it's not. We do not achieve what we want to. So we, in this new perspective of European budget money, we try to push as much as is possible budget allocation for the instruments, financial instruments that will take the equity position. And until now, we established 2 VC funds and 10 seed funds, and both of those instruments we would like to continue since this year in new edition, and both of them will be based on the equity. And also very important is that we have to remember that the public money is stigmatized for the private investors. When they see in some company that the public institution has the equity position, it's a threat for them because they have to account in their business model the political risk. You never know that maybe after another election or after another minister will come someone else whose main purpose is not to push the startup away and develop, but maybe the change of the politics of the country. So there's 2 issues. First issue is we have to be consequently in our approach to support the startups in the horizon which is longer than 10 years. And second thing, it's when we put the money, the equity in the market, we have to remember that it's a fragile thing and we have to behave as a typical normal LP and try to accommodate to the requirement of the business. That's why we try to speak about the business partner, with the business partners as much as is possible, try to understand their approach, try to accommodate our approach to it. So it's also very, very important thing to not disturb.
So the main question is what will change in the next few years. I think the biggest change will be that you, as entrepreneurs, will not have to contact with such institution like mine or his, and believe me, it's good for you. You will have to contact with private sector fund, accelerator, or so on, and you will have only to deal with them on a business level, not with administration level, so letters or I don't.
All the bureaucratic stuff, we know, formal procedures, that and different things.
Yes, that fund or accelerator or every institution who want to lead the program will have it on their level. If you need some support, you only ask them and they will evaluate you, do whatever they need to do, and then you will have answer right in the moment.
Yeah, that was a very good remark, that since now when I'm the I've got an idea for this startup. I do not have to call to a PARP or NCRD, just get to our web pages where are listed the seed funds, the venture capital funds, and contact directly the right person who will know immediately if this certain project is worth to speak about it or not. And also remember, we have to remember that when we speak about the innovation, the very important is time. Innovation is now. Tomorrow could be too late. The market goes so fast that the reality is still changing. So when I see how the public institution supports, even not the startups, even the entrepreneurs, like they've got official public call for the tenders. We have to put application, wait 3 months. Then they like think about our application when we gonna sign the agreement. We are like 1 or even 2 years after put our application. So we losing the most important thing, time. So and it's something that it's like very hard to learn for the government institutions because they are used to, they are focused on the procedures, not on the effect. That's why when we change the whole logic of the system, that entrepreneur is going to the seed fund, to the venture capital fund, to the private person who is living with the business and living in the business world, it's changing the dialogue between the interface which support and between the startupper.
I don't know what to add. Do we have any entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs on publicity? Entrepreneur or future?
Entrepreneur.
Okay. So tell me, what do you need the most right now for your enterprise?
Here we go. What do I need the most in my enterprise? Actually, it's not really money, it's manpower.
Money and what?
It's not money, it's manpower.
But some specialists?
Definitely, big data specialists. We do need people that know how to do big data and statistics and mathematics applied to computer.
It's hard to find in Poland, especially. But I don't know if we have any programs aiming at that. But we have some programs that boost soft skills, but it's future.
Well,
So
I mean, that being said, I work in storytelling, which means that the other part of my business, I always need people to do storytelling. But long ago, I've just like thrown everything. It's really hard to find people in that space because it's such a really big soft skill. So, and I think Poland is hard to find people, good storytellers in Poland. So find me one.
okay, I'll think about that later. I will find some. So maybe you want to add something because I don't know. I don't want to bore you with measures we are planning because everything you should know you can find on our website or even ask me after that.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe there are some specific issue which you would like to ask about.
So if you lend me one of the mics, I'll see if we can ask some questions. Any questions? Any doubts? There we go.
It's pretty loud. Are you thinking about taking any measures to deal with abusive users of the public money, kind of companies that just use the money to because it can the system can be easily like hacked and hacked in order to give money to just random people and have no validated outcomes. And is there any plans to tackle that problem?
I think that the model of evaluating and assessing applications is right now more fragile in that matter, because when we gave subsidy, there was a public officer who read application and told, hey, this is good or this is not good. And this was hard to find if the application is truthful. But now, where we are focusing on supporting entities who will transfer that aid and help and support to the next level, to the level of companies, there will be more business approach to the support. So I think this way we will exclude the abusive users of the public money.
Lightsaber here. Who wants to ask another question? Come on, no one? No? I have a question for you guys. I'm gonna be mean, okay? So just grab the chairs hard. So it's always the same issue, and I've seen this in Spain happening. I have very good friends that work on these similar agencies that you're working in, but in Spain. And I always have this conversation with them is, so I have a question for you guys. Any of you guys have done startups before? No. So normally that's the case, and I normally ask this, the people who run these programs is, what kind of, in what capacity do you feel yourself that you're capable of judging if we should give this guys the money or that guys the money? If you haven't been reading the game, if you don't really know, despite all the information that these people can actually give you and the kind of hopefully due diligence that you actually do before giving the money, it's sometimes very hard if you haven't been on the other side and you actually know these people and they know their reputation, what they've achieved before and stuff like that. So, and I'm not talking about the public stuff they've achieved, but actually the word on the street about these people. So, how do you feel about that? How do you fix that?
But it's not. We are not those persons who decide if it's good or no. That's the point. We are engaging the proper people, the very experienced entrepreneurs, the people who are living for ages with circulating in this environment, who are living in the seed funds, who are in the management teams, who are very experienced in our country and also abroad. So what is our responsibility? It's to create for them peaceful environment that they could do her work. So we are not choosing the proper project. We are just choosing proper manager who will choose the projects.
Okay, so
the startups.
So long story short, we don't want to decide who to give money. We want to choose only people which will have this area of expertise to find the best choices.
Okay, good.
And moreover, like we've got this intention to create the management teams of the seed funds and vehicle funds that will be combined with Polish people and people from our board to take this know-how to our own market, to Polish people learn how we should look for the project, how we should support them. So we would like to create this added value which comes from the synergy of both approach.
So you're gonna hire Marvin then? I need to talk to him. Maybe he's interested. Okay, guys. Any other question? Oh, yeah, one here. There you go, sir.
Hi. So I'm still waiting to hear the answer to the question that was asked in the talk. You seem to be saying that we shouldn't look for government money. He's asking a question about how government money tends to go to people who are going to waste it. And you've just also told us that you'd rather give money to people who will then give money to companies, which also seems to be incredibly wasteful. Could you just tell us the best way, the best process to engage in to attempt to get government money for our businesses?
Love the guy. He's wearing a hat. He's one of mine. There you go.
we will not exclude at all abusive use of public money. That's impossible. But what we can do is to minimize that. And when we choose best people, best managers who have their interest in good investments, we are minimizing that risk. So I think we are doing whatever we can to minimize that. What do you have?
Just a sec.
I think.
I'll just ask you. Okay, I understand what you have to do. But what do we have to do to get that money?
But
You need to
You are
invite them
entrepreneur.
for dinner first. Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for money, yes? So you have to contact with the institution who has our money, not us, because we will not be able to find if your company is worth our money. We want experts do that. So if they will tell us that your company is good and is worth public money, then they can transfer our money to you. It's European money.
Translation: fund of funds.
All you have to need is, first of all, good idea, and then find a contact to one of our, for example, seed funds, which are listed on our webpage. And there are like a description of those seed funds, because some of them focus on the life science, for example, some of them focus on IT. So it depends on what kind of idea of your future business you've got. You contact the right people from this, from the one of those seed funds, and they deal with you. They telling you what you should do. They negotiate with you the terms of the agreement. They also giving you feedback if your idea is correct. Do you have to upgrade it, or it's enough to be a base for this equity investment? So I think the ideas are the most important thing. And then, of course, know where to find the contact to the proper seed fund.
Okay, last question here.
My question is this. What are the metrics of success? You give out money. What are the metrics of success that you use, and what should they be? Are they sustainability of a business, 1 year, 5 years? Is it the number of, like in Ireland, a similar fund, they judge success by how many job positions they create. What are the metrics of success, and what should they be?
Okay, so what are? When we look at this issue from the point of view of Brussels, for example, they force us to the measures like the amount of the money spending on the investigation in equity, the number of the entrepreneurs which were support, the number of the workplaces which were created, and stuff like this, like this. But I think for us, the measure of the success will be, first of all, if the Polish company, if the company which were supported by our money go abroad, start to be a global, be famous and recognizable. That's the first thing. And second thing, if after our 10-year perspective of investment, all this ecosystem will survive and get the money by its own.
Okay, guys, so we're out of time. So that
Thank
was
you.
very helpful. Thank you very much, guys. Guys, big round of applause for them.